it's Chi-Town, it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes.
These small adjustments can help the Chicago Bears offensive line improve tremendously. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, if you love the Chicago Bears just like I do, make sure you also do me a huge favor by hitting the like button on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. Bears fans, before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I just want to let you guys know that today's show, Keek on the Mic, is brought to you guys by BetUS. Once again, as you guys all know, Keek on the Mic and BetUS are partners all season long. And I'm making all my Chicago Bears bets all season long through BetUS. You guys can actually head over right now to betus.com and use promo code YouTube150 for a 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000. Once again, Bears fans, I am so appreciative of BetUS because they make Chicago Bears bets really, really easy through their website. Once again, go to betus.com, use promo code YouTube150, receive your 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000, and bet on the Chicago Bears all season long. So, okay, Bears fans, here we go. We have a lot to discuss in regard to the Chicago Bears offensive line. And as we all know, that this Bears offensive line needs some help because they have been putrid over the first 2 weeks. And it seems that the Chicago Bears coaches are finally fed up and frustrated with right guard Nate Davis. I think they have given him enough opportunities to succeed within this offense and on this offensive line, but he is just not cutting it. Of course, you can also look at center Coleman Shelton as well. So today on the podcast, I want to be the head coach or the general manager of the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to give you guys some different combinations for this Bears offensive line that I think would help this Bears O-line improve. But before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, let me ask you guys this question. What offensive line combination do you want to see the Chicago Bears explore, right? Because at this point, they have to do some shuffling because at this point, behind this offensive line currently, Caleb Williams will not survive, and it would just be a crap fest behind this O-line for the rest of the season. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over 3 different combinations that I would like to see the Chicago Bears explore. But once again, as I'm going through these different combinations, of course, interact with me down below in the comment section. And also give me some combinations that you guys would like the Chicago Bears to explore in regard to this Bears offensive line. So option number 1 for me, Bears fans, would be Braxton Jones at left tackle, Chevin Jenkins at left guard. Of course, you keep Coleman Shelton at center, even though some people would disagree with that. Then you bring in Matt Pryor at right guard to replace Nate Davis, and then you keep Darnell Wright at right tackle. So the only change that I'm making here is that Matt Pryor would be replacing Nate Davis at right guard. When you look at a guy like Matt Pryor, this is not the most ideal situation, but at this point, I think a change is needed at the right guard position when you're looking at Nate Davis. Pryor's last extensive work was in 2020 with the Philadelphia Eagles. He played 6 games, and in those 6 games, he allowed 15 pressures and 2 sacks. Once again, it's not the most ideal situation for the Chicago Bears offensive line, but how I look at it is it can't get any worse than Nate Davis. I know there's a lot of people looking at the way that Darnell Wright has been playing as well, but of course, I think his play has been plagued by the inability of Nate Davis and the way that he's been playing. So yes, I think Nate Davis has been holding Darnell Wright back. So I think when you look at a guy like Matt Pryor, you give him the opportunity. Maybe he brings that spark to the offensive line, and I think he would be appreciative of this opportunity. And I think he would come in, put his head down, and work hard for this Chicago Bears offensive line. Of course, I know a lot of people are saying, "Hey, Keek, why wouldn't you take out Coleman Shelton?" I do want to make you guys aware that this is only option number 1. I do have other options where Coleman Shelton is also out of the starting 5 for the Chicago Bears offensive line. So go ahead and let me know down below in the comment section how you guys are feeling about option 1. Once again, not the best. I'm only really taking out Nate Davis, and I'm hoping that bringing in a new, fresh face in Matt Pryor would give the Bears offensive line a spark that we desperately need. Moving on to option number 2. And I've seen a lot of people, meaning Bears fans, analysts, bring this situation up, and we would leave Braxton Jones at left tackle. we will move Matt Pryor to left guard. Obviously, Matt Pryor does have experience playing both left and right guard, so he does have that flexibility. Once again, you leave Coleman Shelton at center. You move Tevin Jenkins back to right guard. Once again, he also has that flexibility. And then Darnell Wright stays at right tackle. I actually like this combination a lot, Bears fans, for the simple fact that if you move Tevin Jenkins to the right side of the offensive line, to me, you're putting your best two offensive linemen on the same side. Obviously, Tevin Jenkins is pretty good run blocker. Darnell Wright is a really good run blocker. And I feel like putting Tevin Jenkins by Darnell Wright will not only make the right side of the offensive line stronger, but it'll also elevate the play of Darnell Wright as well. So maybe if you have a heavy side that you know you can trust, maybe we'll be able to run the football more to the right side. Of course, you're kind of compromising the left side of the offensive line with Braxton Jones and Matt Pryor. But to me, I do kind of like the idea of putting Tevin Jenkins next to Darnell Wright, so it gives you at least a really strong right side of that offensive line, and maybe this would give the Bears offensive line a spark that we desperately need. Maybe that would allow Caleb Williams to give him more time to throw the football, and most importantly, hopefully this would give DeAndre Swift some running lanes as well, especially when you're running on that right side of the offensive line behind Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright. So Bears fans, let me know down below in the comment section how you guys liking option number 2. I don't think it's all that terrible. Once again, Nate Davis is out of the starting lineup, and I think at this point, Nate Davis is one of the huge Achilles heels of this Bears offensive line so far. Now moving on to option number 3, and this is obviously my last option. Braxton Jones would stay at left tackle. Matt Pryor would stay at left guard. Doug Kramer would replace Coleman Shelton, because once again, I feel like Coleman Shelton has had a rough start to his campaign as the starting center for this Bears offensive line. Tevin Jenkins would then stay at right guard, and then Darnell Wright would be right tackle, of course. To me, I wouldn't hate this at all. Once again, you're looking at kind of like inexperience on the interior with Matt Pryor and Doug Kramer. But to me, when you look at the Achilles heel of this offensive line, once again, it has been Coleman Shelton and Nate Davis. They have struggled mightily for this Bears offensive line. Their inability to pick up stunts, to be able to run block consistently. They have been a huge reason why this Bears offense has unable to gain a rhythm. I mean, it's been a huge reason why Caleb Williams has been running for his life. So to me, there's nothing wrong with experimenting with Matt Pryor and Doug Kramer on this interior of the offensive line. I know Doug Kramer does lack that experience. Once again, though, I think he could be ready for this opportunity. He's been on the team for a couple of years now. So to me, this switch wouldn't hurt. And once again, how I feel about Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright on the right side of this offensive line, I do like the idea, because then you have a really strong right side for this Bears offensive line. And maybe this will be the spark that the Chicago Bears offense needs. So Bears fans, how you guys feeling about option 3? To hopefully give this Bears offensive line a spark? Let me know down below in the comment section. And as always, Bears fans, we also have some other options in Karan Amagaji. He's a rookie. He can play guard. I believe he can also play tackle. And of course, Bill Murray as well is on the roster. He has no starting experience, but he looked really good in preseason. So there's definitely guys on the roster to me that could probably compete and play at a higher level than what we've been seeing from Coleman Shelton and Nate Davis. But at this point, I think the first domino is going to beat Nate Davis. I think Coleman Shelton is going to be safe until Ryan Bates is healthy and he's off IR, which is unfortunate. But maybe if we bench Nate Davis and we have a new right guard in there, maybe that helps the play of Coleman Shelton improve as well. So we need to look at every combination for this Bears offensive line, because once again, Caleb Williams is not going to survive behind this putrid offensive line that we've been seeing the last 2 weeks. So once again, Bears fans, let me ask you this before I let you guys go. What O-line combination do you want to see the Chicago Bears explore? And let me know how you feel about the 3 combinations that I gave on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. We all know that something needs to change, and it needs to change fast if we want to see this offense flourish behind Caleb Williams, because right now it looks absolutely awful, and it stems from poor offensive line play. But all in all, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. And once again, make sure you head over to betus.com and use the promo code YouTube150 for a 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000 to bet on the Chicago Bears all season long. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.